All is not well on the India-US trade front. It's time to worry because there's just about 2 weeks before Donald Trump's tariffs of 26% and more take effect on imports from India. Something that could be quite a big blow to India's economy. And despite being at negotiations even before Trump's earth-shattering tariff announcements on April 2nd, the fact is that India seems nowhere close to a deal. This, while the UK and even America's supposed target of all the tariff tantrums, China, are getting their own deal, even if interim truce, in China's case, in place. What exactly is going on? Let's clarify the confusion. Donald Trump's Liberation Day duty announcements on April 2nd had placed duty of 26% on all Indian imports, with steel and aluminum later garnering special attention of up to 50% import duties. There were also additional tariffs on auto parts imports. Together, they would have posed a big threat to India's trade and, by correlation, India's present GDP rates as the world's fastest growing major economy. The only way out? A quick trade deal. Now, when it all started, India seemed to be on a fairly good wicket. Trump and Modi had met in February, where there were agreements to work towards a bilateral trade agreement or BTA and to double trade to $500 billion by the end of this decade. Tariffs were also set much higher on many other countries, like China, for example, which meant India was not only better off, but could actually make a killing by becoming a replacement source for those Chinese imports into the US, which had sky-high tariffs, some as high as 145%. Mark Linscott, lead negotiator with the first Trump administration, who I spoke to, had told me India was first in line. But cut to 3 months later, and the Trump moratorium on the new tariffs coming into effect just days away, it almost seems as if India is missing the bus. Not only have China and even the UK worked out their own deals, India-US negotiations, despite multiple rounds of talks, seems to have, to use a currently viral line, not getting enough thrust. In the interim, relationship between the two countries also has not been at their best, with Trump claiming credit for ceasing hostilities between India and Pakistan after Operation Sindoor, and PM Modi continuously claiming that is not the case. Modi also declined Trump's invitation to visit the US after the G7 meet in Canada last week. And the trade talks themselves between the two countries, which had seemed almost like a formality at one point of time, now sound strained. New Delhi apparently is resisting Washington's attempts to get the Indian market opened up for its agricultural imports, especially corn and soybean, just to name two of them. While not much headway has apparently been made for India's demand for the US to agree that reciprocal tariffs will not apply to exports from labor-intensive sectors of India, like textiles, footwear, gems, jewelry, etc. It is ironic since in the beginning stages it was clear that India would need to accede to many US demands considering the situation, including opening up the market for American agricultural produce. Even the argument heard over the last couple of days that India does not want American genetically modified produce here flies against the reality of having used and cultivated American BT cotton here to great advantage since the turn of the century. For India, opening up agriculture, dairy and poultry sectors has been a sensitive area considering the large number of people employed in this sector. But sometimes short-term sacrifices and giving up conventionally accepted strategy of political expediency could well lead to long-term benefits. and a more competitive marketplace. The ball is in India's court.